Hello, happy Sunday. It is time for my mental health vlog. I am tired today, which is weird because this week I've actually had some of the best sleep I've had in years. The stars just kind of aligned for me for getting a good night's sleep. Our mattress sits on a wireframe bedstand, so every time we move, the whole thing moves, and we decided to try and get like a little box spring insert. I mean, it's tall enough it doesn't need a box spring, but we got these little 4-inch box springs to put underneath our mattress, and it made the mattress more firm, and that has been huge for my leg and my back and all that kind of stuff. Plus, I finally got the testosterone refilled from the doctor after about a month of being out of it, and I got a new CPAP strap for my mask. So those three things together, man, what a difference a good night's sleep makes. Like, I have had the best week at work this week, which, considering the past couple of weeks I've had, it was great to be as productive and efficient as I was with all the changes that are still happening. And just, I felt myself being more positive at work. I don't know if that's because of the sleep, but as my boyfriend would say, causated, not correlated, or correlated, not causated, or whatever the hell. But I definitely feel like it had some influence or impact to the rest that I've had. However, today, so last night, let's see. Friday, my boyfriend and I went for a 2-mile walk, which for me is a lot because we don't do a lot of exercise. And where my leg had been feeling great all week, after the 2-mile walk, my leg started acting up. Well, then on Saturday, we took my son to Ren Fair, and again, tons and tons of walking. So last night, I did not get the best night's sleep. I think I finally got sleep around 1:30 in the morning, and then we had to get up insanely early this morning to help my boyfriend's mom set up for a craft show that she was selling some of her wares. So I managed to get up by myself this morning, and I was dressed before my boyfriend was out of bed. That never happens, especially on a Sunday, unless there's like a flight or a theme park involved. But today, nope, I was just, that alarm went off. I'm like, I'm good. Let's just get up and get it over with. So yes, I think the box springs have helped immensely and firmed up the mattress, and that's made a huge difference for some of the physical issues that, the physical ailments that I have. You know, when that check engine light comes on after 40, that's what that helped. Let's see. We were watching, I don't watch Dancing with the Stars anymore, really, because honestly, I like Tyra Banks, but Tyra Banks on Dancing with the Stars is incredibly annoying. But it's Disney night. It was Disney night a couple weeks ago, so we finally, I wanted to watch that one, especially because I like some of the celebrities that are on this season. And one of the celebrities that's on this season is Shangela, who is one of the more well-known drag queens from the RuPaul's Drag Race franchise. And it was so weird on a popular American television show to hear the words drag queen, where it's not on RuPaul's Drag Race. Just hear the term drag queen in a non-negative connotation. It was just like any other profession. And it was just a weird feeling, great feeling, but a weird feeling to have it just so normalized. Like, I even turned to my boyfriend, I'm like, was that weird for you? And he's like, yeah, it was. So I think that's probably something for the older generation gay. Okay, my age and older generation gays, to see something so normalized. And even the person that got eliminated on that episode, I had no idea he was gay. And at the end, he thanked his husband for all of his support. And again, it was one of those moments where it's like, it's just another thing. It's so normalized. And it was kind of great. You know, I look back at America 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago when I first came out. Oh my God, I am old. And there are things that have happened that I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. And this is something I never thought I thought about thinking about seeing, but it still was nice for it to just kind of happen and really set me back a little bit. So, kudos for those of you that have helped propel this country forward, and fuck you for those who continue to hold it back. You know who you are. Speaking of that, I had my meeting on Wednesday, and it got a little sensitive. The topic was the trauma associated with growing up in a homophobic household, and some of the shares were just heart-wrenching. Because my SAA group is an LGBTQ plus SAA group, specifically for dealing with some of the issues that we might face that heterosexuals may not face. Although we do welcome everybody to our meetings, but it was kind of insightful, and I apologize in advance if this word offends you, but I told them, I'm like, I learned the word faggot before I learned gay or homosexual. I mean, that was standard with some of the adults I grew up with. Not all of the adults I grew up with. I mean, my mom would never use that word. I didn't learn it from her. But, yeah. And it is traumatic. And it's something that heterosexuals will never have to battle with. Growing up, having to pretend to be someone else, and then spending most of your adult life trying to unlearn the act that you were putting on and figure out who you really are and how to be who you really are. And that's not always easy. That's why a lot of people, when they come out, they swing really far to the pendulum the other side. They're doing all these things, being super flamboyant or super whatever. I mean, that does happen to a lot of people when they come out, because they've never had that freedom before, and they don't know what to do with it. But the trauma associated with repressing who you are is hard, and it's interesting to deal with that, and to focus on that, and to hear other people's stories around that. Because I was just talking the other week about thinking about the trauma that others face, and that kind of tied into it, because one of the people I was talking about was someone who was, if he's not still closeted, I know for a very long time he was forced to be closeted because his parents would never have accepted him, and they're really big in the church, and that's, I mean, people are free to believe what they believe, but I hate when someone's belief hurts someone else, and that's a global statement. So anyway, that was a very interesting topic. Got the divorce paperwork done, and I sent the draft over to my ex to review. So we are one step closer to getting that done. Someone made the comment, like, I can't believe you've gone through this so quickly. I'm like, well, I got tired of waiting for my ex to do it for 2+ years. It is October. It has been 3 years since we've been separated. 3 years and a month, almost. So it was time to get that done. I was talking to a coworker of mine this week, and I used to give her such a ration of shit because she'd start listening to Christmas music in October, if not before. And I was like, no, it's not allowed. And this year she sent me a message through work. She's like, I just wanted to let you know that I'm thinking about you because I started my Christmas music again. And I was just like, you know what? I am so glad that you have something like that makes you happy. I said, it's so, grab the happiness in life where you can. I said, it is not for me to poo-poo on something that makes you happy. Just because I wouldn't do it personally doesn't mean I need to take that sunshine or away from you, or, like I said, poop on it. So I said, I'm glad that you have the Christmas music. I'm glad that it makes you happy. And I'm glad that you thought about me while doing something that made you happy. I said, so that makes me feel great that you thought about me while doing something that made you happy. So I thought that was great. Thursday night, I got a text from my son asking me if his Taekwondo shoes were here. I'm like, uh-oh. So I didn't find him in his bedroom, and I went and looked out in the car, and sure enough, it was in the back of the car. And we had the dogs with us this past weekend in the car. So we had this thing that we had laid out for them. When we laid it out, my son's shoes got buried underneath it. So my very first thing that I wanted to text him back was, why didn't you make sure your shoes were in your bag? And I stopped for a second, and I'm like, I hated it when I was asked questions like that as a kid, because it was so not solution oriented. It didn't teach me a damn thing, and it just made me feel stupid. So I stopped and I rephrased it. And I said, it is not your fault that you did not see your shoes in the back of the trunk because they were under a mat. However, it is your responsibility to make sure that you have all of your stuff and all of your equipment before you leave. So, I'm enjoying the personal growth that I find when I stop and analyze little things like that. Just little things. That's where I see my growth. We did Ren Fair on Saturday. It's the huge Ren Fair here in Texas that lasts from early October until the end of November. This weekend was Pirate Weekend. So we went with our son. There were a lot of corsets, and there were a lot of boobs on display. Like, there were a lot of boobs. Like, and then they were weird because they were like pushed like here, and then they were like, boop, like weird shape. Like, I don't understand how women can have that shape with. Anyway, if it's comfortable for you, go for it. But I made the comment. I'm like, there are a lot of boobs on display, and my son was like, I'm trying really hard not to look, but they're everywhere. And I was like, you know what, dude? You can't help what you see, but you can help if you stare or gawk. I said, so if you see them, you don't have to be weird about it. Just move on to something else. So, oh my God, I cannot believe he's almost 2 digits. I cannot believe he's almost 10 years old. Sometimes I feel like he's already a teenager, and sometimes I just like he's my little baby. My ex and I had a conversation this evening about, when we drop off, just about talking about how not coddling him and some of the things we're trying to cut back on. Like, I don't cut his food anymore. He makes his own breakfast in the morning, cereal. And, he's got responsibilities, and the responsibilities keep growing. He was complaining about doing some of his chores that he has here today. And I'm like, eventually you'll be living on your own and you'll have to do these things. So you might as well learn how to do them now. So, and I remember hating all the stuff I had to do when I was a kid too. But I mean, it's part of growing up. You have, part of growing up is learning how to be self-sustainable and take care of yourself. And I'm not doing him any favors if I'm not doing that, which is hard for a parent to say because you want to do everything for them. But I'm not doing him any favors, and I want him to be awesome when he grows up. He's awesome now. He needs to be awesome when he grows up. I cannot think of another thing to go over today. It's been a great week, but I'm exhausted. And honestly, that's just about it. So I am going to go put something comfy on and go sit in the recliner and just be a vegetable for the rest of the night, because I think that's what I need for self-care right now. All right, everybody, check on your friends, make sure they're doing okay. Check on your loved ones, make sure they're doing okay. Things are much better. I got some family drama, family stuff going on, and it's moving in a good direction, so I'm happy for that. And then check on yourself. Make sure you're doing okay. What do you need? Do you need to be a vegetable tonight and just relax and not worry about anything? Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes doing nothing is self-care. All right, guys. I love you, and I will check in with you next week, which will be Halloween Eve. I do love Halloween. Okay, real quick. the craft fair that we did this morning for my boyfriend's mom. We helped her set up, and then we left before it started. But we were walking around to all the booths before they were all set up. And this one lady had some amazing, like, handmade ceramic stuff that she made, and her color combinations were great. Her finishing was great. It was just really, really cool. And I expected the pieces to be like 60, 70 bucks a piece. So I asked her, I'm like, how much are these? I'm like, first off, you're not open yet. Do you mind if I shop? She's like, no, go ahead. And then I saw these pumpkins and I asked her about them, like jack-o'-lanterns, and I was expecting 65, 70 bucks a piece. She's like, well, these are 35 a piece. I'm like, I want those two, sold, done. Not a problem. But yeah, my boyfriend's mom did have a really successful, this is like her first craft fair, and I think she ended up clearing like $400 or $500, so kudos to her. Anyway, bye guys, I will see you next week on Halloween Eve. Bye.